And welcome to another edition of the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. I am your host, Dougie Almeida, now from Danger Studios in Coral Springs, Florida. I'm joined by my two guests today, two very funny comedians, Mr. Eric Schwartz.
Hello.
And Paul Conyers. What's up, fellas?
What up?
Going on?
Now, it's great to have you guys here. Like I mentioned before the show, I'm a little bit in the doldrums. I'm dealing with a major injury that I can't walk. I'm walking around like Fred Sanford. And my wife is talking about my dog about maybe, put him out of his misery. So what a great way to start a comedy podcast.
Yeah.
But she wants you to live in misery.
I'm just worried. I'm worried it's going to be me next. Hey,
she likes the dog more than you.
Yeah.
You've been limping around this place. They're going to put you down.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So
sorry about that. That's not fun stuff.
The dog is 16 and he looks like he's going through like the mental issues. Like he'll just get off the couch and just sit there and stare at a wall.
Oh man.
And he literally every 10 minutes he pees somewhere. Thank God we got wood and and tile floors for the most part. But in our new house, it's like you're gonna have to, picking up piss everywhere.
Yeah. So, I know that's exactly what was happening when we made the decision to put my father down. It was it was a toughie, but once the signs are there, there's no going back.
Yeah. Who wants their father peeing all over the living room?
I give you 2 strikes and you're out on that one.
Yeah. I mean, it's horrible because you walk out in the middle of the night, and you're going to get a drink of water or something. You go, you step in, pee in the tile floor. I mean, again, it's tiles. You just get a thing to lift it up.
Yeah.
But now you got pee on your foot. You know.
I sleep with socks. Ugh, that's even worse.
Yeah. And if you didn't notice, you'd go back into the bed.
Yeah.
With your pee socks on.
Mm-hmm.
And then your girl's like, what's that smell? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't pee in the bed. Well, you must have. And then
that's a tough story to sell at 3 a.m.
Yeah. I usually just go to sleep and worry about it in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Eric, you and I met at the Off the Hook Comedy Club originally when I was there with somebody, and you were there for the weekend. I think I remember it was a Wednesday night. And I think I gave you some financial advice, and then you came down to Florida and did some of our shows.
Yes, for no money. Just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I was just making that as a joke because you gave me financial advice, and then that would have been funny if I did it for no money. But you paid me. I'm just saying. I was fascinated by your fiduciary abilities because that's one of my weaknesses.
Yeah.
And, and so you're not only funny, great on the show, and then I was like, this guy knows how to manage his money. Is this guy an anomaly?
Yeah,
I'll do other stuff that he wants to do. So I followed you, and I'm still with you.
Yeah, that's how I found my first few girlfriends. I impressed them with money, and then they all went out with me. That didn't last very long though. And then Paul, you and I met at the World Series of Comedy briefly. You won the year before, and then last year when you won it. I think we all got drunk, and I think I was giving you karate lessons.
That sounds vaguely familiar. I think I came home with a couple bruises that I couldn't explain. So,
like Paul's like 6'11" or some shit. I don't know. He's tall. And I'm standing there next to him like Danny DeVito, and I'm like, grab me by the shirt. Let me show you what I would do.
Yeah. That's like my favorite thing to do when I'm blacked out. I'm like, okay, so what would you do if like I was coming at you like that? Because I have no self-defense skills at all. So I just like to know like how a shorter person would just put me out like real quick.
Yeah. It's always good to know what somebody would do in that situation. And it was funny because, all week, I had COVID back in June, and I was being careful being in Vegas and everything. And so we're hanging out, and I don't think it was late at night that one night after the win, the Saturday night finals. And we're then, like I said, I was like, you and I were close doing this close grab stuff and defensive stuff. Then I hear a couple days later that he had COVID.
Yeah. I caught it out in Vegas. So I don't know. I hope it passed right through you and got to me, or I got it afterwards. Don't know, but I felt bad. I mean, that's the closest I've ever come to like, making that chlamydia call in college. Like, listen, I hate to tell you, but you need to go get yourself checked. I had to send that to fucking everybody.
Yeah, wow. It is.
You guys are COVID bonded.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what happened to me when I didn't know I had it. And I did an open mic on a Friday. And next Saturday, my wife woke up and couldn't smell anything. So we went to get tested the next day. So on Monday, like you said, it was like old high school days. Oh, I think I got the clap.
Yeah.
And, and I think you gave it to me, then
Yeah. Right.
Who gave it to you? Did you give it to her? Did she, you got to find out.
Yeah.
It's rough, and on my end, there was a lot of people because we took a photo. I mean, I was keeping my distance from people. We were even sharing a pipe that I was using the flame. I put the flame to it so no one got sick. But probably people thought I did it on purpose. I was trying to kill the local South Florida comedy scene. I was even a murderer from showing up at an open mic with COVID, even though I didn't know I have it. And somebody posted this because there was like 8 comics or 10 comics on this photo from the open mic, and I'm in the middle, and it's like doomsday photo. But nobody got it, so it's amazing. Are you been COVID free, Eric?
I think so. There's a chance I might have gotten it before the whole thing shut down for like a mild case for like 4 days. I don't know. I got kind of sick. I felt real weak, but I slept like most of those days, and then I felt better. But the reason I think I might have had it is I was touring with Joe Coy, and then there was a comedian that filled in for me one night that I couldn't go, and he ended up not being able to go on stage because he was so sick. He had a really high fever, and he had just gotten back from China. So I don't know if I got the remnants of that or what.
Was he he was at the Wuhan Improv?
Yeah, he was at the Wuhan. Yes.
No, they don't pay well, I hear.
Yeah, they call that. And so I don't know. If I did get it, I didn't get a bad one, but otherwise I haven't had anything.
Well, you guys are in California. It's good to see that they're finally getting to the point where they're starting to open things up a little bit.
Finally, we have the lowest COVID rate in the nation.
Yep.
And a budget surplus, supposedly.
Yeah, so, I saw that, man.
Yeah. So we're in good shape. But and just as we're in good shape, I'm coming to Florida and Texas.
That's right.
Hopefully I don't set the stats going the other way.
You sometimes you want to look like I was asked today on a podcast, somebody else's podcast, because I've been flying a lot, and they're like, you feel safe flying? I go, yeah, I do. I just point the air that comes out of those jets right at the person sitting next to me. So
I've been doing that for years, buddy.
Yeah. Creating like an air shield between me and of course my neighbor. But you guys feel all right? You just recently had it, so you shouldn't feel too bad, Paul. Like you got the antibodies still, I'm sure.
Actually, I didn't. I had it and I didn't feel a thing. I thought it was, I would have totally passed under my radar without my noticing. I just knew if I got back from Vegas and I was hugging like every person in sight on Saturday that I should probably get this checked out. But yeah, then I donated plasma or whatever the Red Cross needs from people that have had COVID. And then they're like, oh, we'll get your antibodies test. And then they told me that I don't have the antibodies. So I don't know. Who knows? Could have been a false positive, and I just got to stay home for 10 days over nothing. Don't know, but yeah. But I did get I got my second dose last week, so
you're
feeling pretty superhuman at this point. Yeah.
Good. You gotten the vaccination, Eric?
Yeah, I'm vaxxed. Totally vaxxed with the 2 weeks after. So yeah, I hit it. And the first day that I got I was like, hit my 2 weeks. I was like, yes, I got my 2 weeks. I'm finally ready to go. And guess where the first place I was supposed to go? Jury duty. Luckily, I didn't have it, but that's when I was supposed to report for jury duty, and I luckily didn't get it. So
thank goodness, man. That's a nice welcome back to society.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you're good now? All right, come do this.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You've got a really long, boring case.
Yeah.
Let's send you to hell's waiting room
with your name on it.
Let you miss your tour out of civic duty now.
Right.
We were talking about that. You guys mentioned a club you're going to be at, Eric, in the San Fran area. Cobb's.
Oh, yeah. Well, first, my tour kicks off at Tampa Improv, actually, on May 16th. And then I'll be in San Francisco. That's one of the June dates, June 13th. Yeah. June 13th. Yeah.
But it was a club. It's always nice.
Cobb's.
Yeah, Cobb's. It's always nice to see a club that closed during all of it to reopen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I think unlike Florida, all the clubs closed in California. And maybe some of them had some outdoor shows. And some of them are still, a lot of them are still having the outdoor shows and
yes,
limited indoor shows.
So you guys can do the outdoor shows in California because it's dry and it's nice. But in Florida, outdoor shows are horrible.
Yeah.
As a booker,
unpredictable.
Booker and a producer, there like a few times people are like, hey, I want to do an outdoor venue. I'm like, no, I don't do them. They're like, why not? I'm like, we're in Florida, and I don't want to have to ask somebody to do shows on the summertime in July when it's like 90 degrees and 110% humidity.
Right.
We might as well have a pool party show. That's the only way I'm going to have to be on stage. What are some of the things, any little thing when you guys are on stage that you guys aren't divas, but is there anything that you particularly get a little upset with if it's not right to your liking when it comes to being on stage?
I've been through boot camp, dude. You know what? I did the Vans Warped Tour in 2015. There were like 10 hard rock stages blaring and you could barely hear yourself talk. So I don't think anything could be harder conditions than not even be able to hear yourself. But it was weird. What I've realized is that if people want the comedy, then it's gonna come. It's gonna work somehow. It shouldn't have worked at the Warped Tour, but it did. So this stuff's like I've done everything that the pandemic, except for Zoom shows, has. The outdoor shows I've done tons of those already. So.
What's your
Paul? What's your annoyance on the outdoor show?
Well, I just did one at a brewery last week. He actually right like down the street. It's always fun when you don't have to go far. And but there was like a taco truck right next to the brewery, and I don't know what. I'm not a sound person, but I know that like the feedback happens when the mic is right next to the speaker or whatever, and that's how they were announcing their orders. So you like order 41 and it was a busy food truck, and so it was just like every time you're like, okay, I'm working on this setup, like, and that guy looks like he's putting the salsa on. I think they're about to announce, and there it is. Okay, and you just had to kind of wait for that. Yeah, I don't know. I think I've grown so much as a comic. And just in the last year, just of everything that you have to deal with. I mean, literal cars literally driving by between you and the show. I mean, the sidewalk shows in San Francisco where it's like you're like in the window of the building and then the people are like outside on the street. And then there's a sidewalk with, psychotic San Francisco people walking through. I mean, you get thicker skin pretty quickly. So it's been great, honestly.
So you think COVID kind of strengthened most comics?
Yeah, if you're not
yes and no.
I think that's. I think if you were adaptable and you kind of took it, and for what it was, I mean, I've got so many comic friends. Like I did one Zoom show. Forget that. I was like, okay, well, you didn't learn how to get good at virtual comedy, which is too bad because you might have to get good at it again someday. But like, yeah, the outdoor shows. I mean, when you're performing, like Eric, have you guys done like the noise canceling headphones? Those shows?
That would be awesome though.
Oh yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, they're not really noise canceling. They say they are, but I mean, like if some like jerk is like ripping by in his Dodge Ram, like you're gonna hear it. But again, it's just like you learn to adjust and you have fun with it and stuff. And I mean, I like all that chaotic stuff. So I'm gonna miss when it's actually back indoors and controlled and I'm actually performing well.
It is kind of fun because it gives you stuff. Like we're always on a tightrope with comedy, and when somebody's shaking the tightrope, you have to come up with something and like to stay on.
Mm-hmm.
So it is kind of fun. But the thing that I don't like is when people do it on purpose. They're like, oh, we want to be. We're gonna make the show better.
Oh yeah.
There's a lady that has come to a lot of my shows that has the most fake laugh, annoying. She somehow got it voted like the best laugh of some competition, and so now she feels obliged to use it and to let everyone hear this beautiful laugh. And I've told her during shows, like, you're doing this on purpose just for attention. It's disrespect. I think that's disrespectful.
Yeah, it is. I
Like
mean,
passive aggressive heckling.
it is. Yeah, it's like I think they're like those are like the helpers. I feel like
Yeah.
those guys are like one step below, but that's like even more annoying than a helper because it's like I'm just laughing, no big deal. But it's like you're trying to make yourself part of the show.
Yeah.
When the disruptions are not genuine, that's when like they're forced.
Right.
And it's like you have to address the non-genuine part of it before you can address the disruption. You know?
Yeah, that's irritating.
That's interesting. You have any real bad heckler experiences besides this cackling hen? I
can tell you how bad it got with her. On my first comedy special that I shot in 2013, she came to that. I didn't know she was coming.
Oh, geez.
She must have sat right underneath the microphone. I didn't hear her during the show because the place was full and she got drowned out. But then when we went to edit, we heard her all throughout my special, and we had to cut her out. I counted it. You can hear her still in some parts of it, but it sounded okay. But where it sounded fake, we cut her out 13 times.
Oh,
and like just to make it sound natural.
Right, because you're going to get accused of like sweetening it, right?
Yeah. Why did he put this fake laugh in? So we actually had to put the fake laugh in to make it sound real. God. And that day that I shot, I had a spot at the Long Beach Laugh Factory, and I went down there, and I got there after the show started, so it was already going on. And what do I hear? I hear, ha ha! I go, you fucking came to this show that day, and I unloaded on her. God! Way, but like I was like, I dropped to my knees. And I was like, what do I have to do to deserve this? She still is coming to my shows. I don't know. I can't get her to not like me. Yeah, no matter what I do, I guess.
Well, maybe you should go to her house and piss all over her floors like my dog does.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, maybe you don't have to put your dog down. Maybe somebody
likes that.
Really nice laugh.
Yeah.
An award-winning laugh will adopt her.
Absolutely. How about you, Paul? Anything comes to mind?
Actually, when I was, my home club is Laughs Unlimited in downtown Sacramento, and I was doing the outdoor show. And me and Jenny, the owner, were just kind of hanging out. She was checking in people's driver's license to give them the headphones and stuff. And this couple, you could just tell, like, when someone's like, all right, they're going to be a problem, like the entire show. And they were just like super, super white trash. And they didn't have like a driver's license. And so Jenny was like trying to be funny about like what else you can use. She's like, I just need collateral. It could be like a credit card. It could be your keys, and she was like, it could be your firstborn, whatever, just trying to be lighthearted about the whole thing. And the guy was like, he was like, oh man, no way. Yeah, I'm going to get one of my kids, man. I got 13 kids. And my wife likes to point out that like, I do a terrible impression of this guy because I can't do white trash. Apparently I can just do like ghetto. But anyway, you get the idea. And anyway, so this guy had all like 13 of his kids' names tattooed on his face. And they sat like, it's outdoor seating. So it's a lot of it's kind of hodgepodge. Okay. We're trying to work with what we can. So they were like actually on the deck of the comedy club, kind of like just stage left to me. So, and they were just like, blah, blah, blah. And I do this bit where I ask if anyone has any kids. And then I kind of go in about, I don't have kids and why it's so much better. And I mean, the guy was, oh man, no way, man. I love my kids, man, everything to me, man. I got tattoos, like just repeating his whole thing. And I was like, you have tattoos of your kids' names on your face? And he was like, yeah, man. I was like, huh, isn't that like, I thought they said you're not supposed to get tattoos of names. Cause like, what if it doesn't last? And he didn't find that funny at all. He got very upset and ended up leaving. And it's different when you leave like a comedy show outside, cause you had to like walk across the boardwalk to storm out. But, yeah, I don't know. I feel like these shows are like performing with like filters on. And, it's like working out with like a weighted vest. And, if you can do it like if you're getting like okay laughs in a situation like that, then you're like, all right, when it's back into like an insulated, controlled environment, it's probably gonna, you're probably gonna do very well. So I don't mind the extra baggage.
Absolutely, it is much better.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of being inside, I don't know if you guys caught Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live this weekend, but I mean, you guys are aware of the show Saturday Night Live, which are comedians.
I am.
Which, many comedians try to get on that show, right? I mean, you want to get a spot on that show. And I understand that some of the people, some of the cast didn't want to be on with Elon Musk, which I thought was interesting. I guess he's a billionaire, and I guess they didn't like him for that. I don't know if you guys followed that, but I mean, I'd love to be on a show with a guy who's probably one of the most iconic people of our time.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, to get like the stories out of it, because I mean, first of all, they all showed up the week that Trump hosted. So I mean, I don't know like what their big deal with like eccentric billionaires this time around is, but I mean, they just you get great story. Like, hey, you've heard Mulaney's stories about like Keith Richards or just like Davidson talking about Trump and how the guy like cannot read. I mean, stick around and get some weird stories to tell about the guy, and that's what I would have done.
Make the best of it.
Yeah. I thought he's definitely a relevant figure. He's not an entertainer. I think that's. I don't know why did people not? Why did the cast members?
Yeah, what's the deal?
What was the problem?
I think I don't know, but I guess because of his association with the Republican Party, they didn't know if it maybe also because he left California for Texas, moved and stuff, and who knows? But I mean, listen, now we know. Now we at least know this: if you want to be on Saturday Night Live, you have to be a funny comic who does voices and characters, or invent an electric vehicle and build a rocket.
Yeah,
that's all the qualifications are to be on that goddamn show. I mean, I haven't watched it in a long time. I just watched the clips of him, and I thought it was very funny. Obviously somebody wrote for him.
He had a monster joke in the monologue. I was watching part of the monologue, and what was the joke? I can't remember, but I generally LOL'd at one part, but he had somebody write that. Unless he's also a genius writer, then we don't know about.
I'm sure he had somebody write. Somebody asked me that this past week if I write all my own material, and I know it wasn't like somebody who's being a smart ass may think you're a joke thief, right? But I mean, this was just an honest question because I guess they had heard the old stories, when comics like Rodney'd buy a joke, and stuff like that. People just buy jokes. Do people ever offer you jokes?
I think like your comic buddies, we sit around and we go, oh, it would be funny if you did this. We tag each other stuff up. That's I think the most valuable feedback you get. But yeah, people always do that. They want to help. They want to. It's easy to take it as an offense. You know what I mean? Like you're like, of course I write my own material. What do you think I'm like? Yeah. What do you think I'm buying I'm just a puppet. Like, but what they just want to have that conversation. That they're interested in comedy. That they know the old school used to be like that more. Where people would have writers for their stage shows more often, and I just think people they just don't know, and they're not trying to offend you, or they're not trying to accuse you of not being original or not writing, or maybe they're just so amazed that one person could come up with all that stuff. Like you can think about it so many different ways. Like
I honestly think that's closer to it. I think most people just they just genuinely don't know almost anything about stand-up comedy. Yeah. I mean, like 90% of the people that are going to go to a club, like Cobb's is reopening, like most of those people that are going to see Brian Posehn next week are like, we have to get there at 8:00 because Brian Posehn is going to be on at 8:00. They don't even know. I mean, that's why, when you're the opener, you should establish the fact that I'm going to be your first comic of the evening, or are you, because most people are like, what is this guy, like the manager of the club or something? I just think it's like, it's just a symptom of that. Like people just don't know like how comedy works. They're like, I've had like family members like, how did you memorize all of that stuff? And it's like, I mean, I don't take it as like, an insult. I mean, the most annoyed I'll get is when someone knows I do comedy is like, I've got a joke for you, and they're great 100% of the time. Guys, keep them coming.
Yeah.
I want them to be great once.
I do too.
I'm
so
like,
badly.
Thank you. I didn't have to do the work.
Yeah.
But they're always like, why would you think I would do that?
Right. Well, that's I mean, that's like the number one reason why you try to you're careful who you tell people you're a comedian too. I remember one time the people that I used to go to I used to go to the same dog park every Saturday, and they found out I do comedy. And so they were just this old woman was just like, I've got a joke for you. And she was like, I was in Safeway. And I don't even remember what the joke was. It was supposed to be about how the prices on the shelves don't match up with the coupons. And I was like, this is a riot. But, I just, I'm not really a grocery store humorist. It's not really my type. I can't get away with it. I'm not edgy.
They always think you're trying to come up with an angle on everything that they feel like you're analyzing them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Get that a lot, right? When somebody finds out you're a comic, I hope I don't want to be in your act now. I'm like, no, you're not that
one of your skits.
Yeah. Speaking of skits, Bill and Melinda Gates are getting divorced, which had a flood of memes. That's the kind of thing that just generates memes. And I had fun with it. I basically posted and got a lot of likes on my little joke. And hit, I think sometimes people say, oh, you're going to tell a hacky joke about, why not? I mean, it's social media. I'm just, I saw the news and I wrote, I guess Melinda is tired of getting injections from Bill or getting Bill's injections, right? I mean,
I like that.
Right?
Wait, do you write your own material?
Some lady I met in a Safeway.
Right. Yeah. She's a laugh a minute.
Did you guys have any Bill Melinda divorce jokes?
Before I could even I just went on Twitter and I just saw everyone was doing such great jokes, and I'm like, the Clippy thing. I don't know if I can come up with anything better than who gets Clippy.
Yeah, I know.
I like the vaccination angle too, but I didn't pursue it.
Who's Clippy? I don't even know.
He's the little assistant in Microsoft Word that pops up. That's hilarious.
Yeah. And he's been used in some great jokes over the years, but he's sort of faded from obscurity. So the fact that he gets to come back and have his day in the sun for that joke, I mean, I just thought was wonderful.
Yeah, that is funny.
He drafted the divorce papers in Mac pages.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, I guess
I didn't do one.
I just read some newer news about it that I guess that she wanted to file for divorce a year, in 2019, because of his interactions with Jeffrey Epstein and his trips to the what do they call that? The pedophile island.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that he supposedly befriended him after all that stuff came out.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah. Now that he's this criminal, he's like, hey, I'm reaching out to you on Instagram.
That's not good optics.
Now, don't you guys think there's got to be a trove of evidence of video in that place? You don't think a guy like Jeffrey Epstein didn't video the actions in that sex dungeon, and that there's got to be a trove of evidence of really powerful people that Maxine Gaswell, whatever his partner was, has, because we haven't heard much about that. And they said some of the things that have happened politically in the last year have something to do with that as well. Even now with that story, there might be stuff on Bill Gates, and Tom Hanks and these people, John Legend and Christy Teigen, all these Hollywood.
I haven't heard any of that.
I haven't heard any of that. I think Tom Hanks would be too much for the nation to handle. I think we all deserve to have truth. But if I had the one piece of evidence of Tom Hanks was on Pedophile Island, I think I would go Alfred in Dark Knight and I'd burn that letter, and I would just the truth needs to die because he's the hero. He's the hero that we deserve, but that's not what we need right now. That would be too much.
Pedophile Island, that would kill volleyball sales for sure.
Exactly. Another thing that happened recently, the Chinese had sent up a huge rocket about the size of a skyscraper. They are building their space lab module. So they sent one up a year ago or something like that. And this one, NASA is pissed. President Biden isn't pissed, hasn't said anything to China. But NASA's pissed because this big old huge rocket went up and they had no idea where it was going to come down at. So you guys could have been sitting there doing an outside show.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're dealing with some fucking lady laughing, or some guy with tattoos on his face. Next thing you know, you got, Chinese space junk landing in the audience.
Those two. Oh, no.
That sounds like what will be the great opening for what will be the next Michael Bay vehicle. I just think it's going to be an outdoor comedy show, and just some bits of the skyscraper is just going to, a rocket just going to land in the audience, kill a couple people. And then we got to get Billy Bob Thornton on the line, and we've got to send up Bruce Willis all over again.
Yeah.
Kind of just chill out for a couple years. Like, hey, the virus came. Have we established that the virus came out of China?
I think that's a fact. Yeah. Or I don't ever take me for that, but I think so, as far as I know.
Yeah, we know it came out of China. The question was it purposely released? Was it, they're still debating on whether it came from a bat or it was released. Negligence in the Wuhan clinic, which is right next to the Wuhan Improv.
Yeah, right.
Wants to get tickets for both venues.
I had my audition in February of 2020 scheduled, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah, it's like, what? There's no flights?
Yeah.
I heard they're having Zoom auditions.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, speaking of that, we had that other thing where they hacked into that pipeline, the Colonial Pipeline up north. I don't know if you saw that story, which there's a pipeline that feeds gas, all kinds of oils and stuff to most of the eastern seaboard. And they got malwared, and they had to shut down the actual pipe. So actually, Joel Pace, who's from Comedy Zone, just posted on Facebook that people are starting to freak out. There's long lines now for gas because there's going to be a shortage. The pipeline's been closed, so eventually you're probably going, there won't be any gas here, and which is great because I'm about to drive from Florida to South Carolina in a couple of weeks, and I may have to.
Not anymore. You're not.
Yeah, I might be pushing my car with my bad.
Yeah.
What did you call it? My
SOAS.
My SOAS.
SOAS.
SOAS. That sounds like a lazy SOAS.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, the Colonial Pipeline Company and now gas shortages. You guys prefer driving or flying to gigs?
Depends on how far.
Yeah, I can be a prima donna. I mean, I'm not going to drive across country, but I mean, if it's within like 4 or 5 hours, I don't mind driving.
4 or 5 hour time limit? Anything over?
Yeah, I'd say so. Or if I have enough notice, like if I'm going down to LA or San Diego or something, I've driven to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd rather drive sometimes because taking all your stuff with you, especially you got a lot of merch, like your boy got a lot of merch.
Yeah.
You can bring an unlimited amount of merch that you can fit in your car.
Good point.
That is. And you're right. I like that. I like the independence of having my car. Right.
Yeah.
All my stuff in it and, come and go as I please. It's always good. Now, also in the news, I don't know if you guys follow horse racing, but we had the Kentucky Derby.
Religiously.
Yes.
Do you?
Yeah. You got a Derby hat? Is that your Derby hat?
That's my Derby hat, right? That's my favorite jockey holding up the trophy from the Preakness last year.
Oh, he's not joking.
That's a tall jockey, man.
Maybe he is joking. I don't know anything about sports. I don't know if that's a jockey.
that is a baseball player.
I was going to say his arms look way too thick to be a jockey.
Yeah,
really
that's why it was a big moment. He defeated all the odds. He's 230 pounds.
Oh man.
Yeah, and they had to shoot the horse.
He was done.
He was done, and he probably pissed on the floor as well. But Medina Spirit, who won it, the Kentucky Derby, fails a drug test, much like I did. So I have something in common with a thoroughbred horse. You guys bet? You ever do any type of racehorse betting? You guys bettors? You gamblers?
I don't know if that's a good investment. So my fiduciary told me that by 10% away and just forget about it. So
yeah.
I don't gamble. I'm the worst gambler, but a friend of mine who does gamble says that he can affect it through his his attitude toward it. Like if he's having fun, then the money comes to him and he wins if he's just like a free spirit. But right. I'm all nervous about it, and that's why I lose. So he made me feel bad about it.
I don't
know.
I think that's true. I think that's true. Like that happens at the blackjack table a lot when I'm playing. If I start getting frustrated, especially if you start losing.
Yeah.
Like when I was at the Laugh Factory a few weeks ago in Vegas, I played. I was down like $200 or $300. I'm like, and then I'm going to go back and play again. And I ended up being up a few $100. But that's like the same as going on stage, right? I mean, you could, if you're feeling good and in a good mood, that's going to be an awesome set. But if you got shit on your mind and you're anything just bothering you, it just really affects you, right?
I don't want to give the impression that like a bunch of gambling addicts can try stand up with just a good attitude. I want that squashed immediately.
To me, one is like a predetermined, the gambling is a predetermined set of odds that you have. Nothing you do is going to affect it, right? But if you're doing stand up, then your attitude can totally affect how you perform. But I don't know. Have you guys had that where your attitude does affect your gambling?
Oh, I have. I've had, poker's a game that you got to be
have some skill in there.
Yeah, you got, but I've definitely noticed like if you start getting aggravated, like you talk about hecklers and stuff, I've had shows where, you're trying to deal with it. You're dealing with a heckler in every way you can. And it's maybe the club doesn't decide to throw them out and you're dealing with it. And it just affected my, it went from being professional to being mean, which you never.
Yeah, right.
You're like, ugh, you just, I remember,
yeah.
I always tell this story. I was in Daytona once, which is known for being like lawless when it comes to comedy. And this one guy was interrupted, like the kind of person that talks out on your setup. It's not just they say things, but they constantly say things and disrupt the flow. And I did everything. I had the crowd all turn around and tell them to shut the hell up. And, I did all these things. You try to get the crowd against the guy. Mm-hmm. And then 25 minutes into it, I go, you know what, dude, you are an asshole. I'm going to go after this show. I'm going to go down there and kick you in the fucking head. You deserve it. You just need to be thrown off this building. And the guy stands up. He goes, good, I'll take my fake leg off then. And
oh God, he was just waiting for that.
Oh, now he tells you.
Yeah, exactly.
Leg.
Yeah. And while I was sitting up there with the shit look on my face, some guy in the back screams, sweep the leg, Dougie. Of course that happens. Other big things in the news, job numbers came out this week. As a fiduciary, I'm aware of these type of things, economic news. But they were expecting 1 million new jobs and they got 225,000 new jobs.
All right.
Some people are saying it's because people are collecting all that government money and sitting at home. Do you guys know anybody who's collecting Social Security or unemployment benefits and just sitting at home doing nothing?
I do.
Yes.
Yes, I do. I know several people that are doing that right now, and their attitudes vary. It's a real spectrum of the American experience. Some people are like, yeah, I'm taking these, I'm taking classes, I'm switching things up, I'm going to get back to being a productive member of society. Some people are like, oh, when it runs out, it runs out. And some people are like, we need to get COVID-21 up and running immediately because I'm never going back to work. This is too easy. So I see all sides of it.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a variety, but I mean, I got assistance. I got the PPP loan, but I'd love to be working. I mean, I'm finally going back to work and I'm excited. So I'm kind of in the middle there, I guess. Well, I got some assistance.
That's good that you got the PPP loan because that's not hard. That's hard to get. I mean, you have to go through a process and get it, and you have to have a business with numbers, that justify it. And it is. It's like, right. It was easy. It's like I people working from house. I work from my home. I wouldn't go into my office. You get kind of used to sitting in around the house. You're like, oh, this is a little too convenient.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I worked hard. Like I dug in. Like I think that my reaction to the pandemic was because I had great momentum going into it, and I'm like, I am not gonna let this thing beat me. And I just dug in, and I worked. I released so much content and didn't get paid anything for it. So I kind of earned the money, I feel like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I can't fade away. Nah, not after all this,
Mm-hmm. You did a great job with that. You were putting out a lot of different stuff and music videos and all kinds of different things. And it was awesome. And that's the thing that is impressive with comics because they didn't, they would always put something out, you got to put something out there to be creative, mm-hmm. And that's good. For something like that. You're right. It's good when somebody does that. If they're going to take that opportunity, take that money, and then go to school or learn something else, like help for that, use that as a transition period, right? To be able to get in there. While some people just sitting there going, I'm going to milk this as long as I possibly can. Pass me the Oreos. And that kind of thing. Exactly. All right. Well, this is the part of the show where we have, we talk about the news and other news stories that we think are somewhat funny. And it's your guys' jobs as comedians that even if it's from the story itself or the headline, to come up with a joke, whether you're a topical comedian or not. And I sent you guys an outline, so you guys had the opportunity to do some homework. But
yikes!
Did you do the homework, Eric? Because I did not. I'm looking at this stuff for the first time.
Hey, dude, show me your answers.
All right.
Show me your answers, dude.
For number one, I got Luis Rivera died at the scene. His relative left a 2009 silver Chevrolet Malibu and could be going to Laredo.
Oh yeah.
I'll read the headline. Customer.
Yeah, why don't you start with that?
I said he's in Matamoros. That's what I said. He's in Matamoros, which is right across the border from Laredo. I know that because I've been there.
Wow.
True.
Yeah.
Boy, that is good fundamental research going on.
I think. Let me check that. I got to fact check that.
Customer beating man with a gun at a bar accidentally kills own relative. Yeah, that's a bad sequence of La Barra.
That's a couple crimes in one.
Yeah, it definitely is. That's too much old school Batman with just the hitting with the gun, man. Just either kick him or shoot him.
A man accidentally killed by a bullet from his relative's gun when a bar fight broke out in Texas. We all know that can happen.
Sounds about right.
Sheriff's office said 2 men began fighting on Sunday night at Micheleda's La Barra in Houston area. One of the men began beating the other with a gun, and it fired a shot. Now, if you have a gun, and it's not a hammer, it's not a billy club, it's a gun.
Yeah.
And if you're going to pull out a gun, see, that's a bad move, because if you pull out a gun and you hit somebody with it, they can grab it from you and shoot you with it. So, yeah, I mean, I get it's nice that his attempt at de-escalating the situation. I got this gun, I'm going to pound you in the head with it.
You know what? That's crazy, because like anytime that I would hear someone got hit with a gun, I would be like, because that happened to me. I got held up at gunpoint. They put me down on the ground, my face down, and he was like looking for something I didn't have, and he hit me in the back of the head with the gun. And the moment that happened, I was like, this is a fake gun. There's no, like, he would have just, why wouldn't he just shoot me? Like, what am I going to get 3 chances here? Like, this is, I've been had. I didn't get up because I wasn't sure, but I was like, I'm 80% sure this gun is fake.
That was interesting. So he pistol whips you with it.
Yeah.
In other words, you can tell by maybe the echo of the sound or the
it
shot.
Felt plasticky to me.
Yeah.
Like it didn't leave the welt, like the welt. Yeah. I thought I felt like a Nerf thing, but yeah, no, it didn't leave like the welt that I think like a metal gun would leave. It was very mild.
It left a brand in your skin that said Mattel.
Yeah, exactly. It was Mattel backwards.
I mean, the gun was green, but who knows?
Yeah.
And it
looked like an emoji, a gun emoji.
Yeah.
That was I recognized it from my keyboard.
Yeah. The gun
was 8 rounds of felt darts I'll put in the back of your head, scumbag.
And then you gave him Monopoly money, and then you're like, hey, you should have had a real gun, asshole.
You're right. It was loaded. It had a suction cup dart in it.
Yeah, they robbed me when they took an ATM card that literally had $4 on it. So I was like, buddy, you rob a college student, you're going to get what you pay for.
Now,
did he have the pin?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think he got anything out of it. He got a Harry Potter wallet and a debit card with like a few bucks on it. So good for you, pal. Hope you spend it wisely.
Oh, by the way, I have to share this. I forgot to share this with you earlier. I haven't fallen for an April Fool's joke in years, probably since high school or middle school. But this year I kind of fell for one that involved Paul. There was World Series of Comedy posted something about him having to lose his title
Yeah.
Because of something. And I started reading this. I go, what the fuck? And I should have kept reading it like everybody else, and they would have figured it out. But I called Joe Lowers, the head of it, and I go, what the fuck?
You called him? Oh my God, that's awesome.
So he started laughing at me. I'm like, what? And he goes, oh, what happened? What the fuck? Why would they do? He goes, dude, you look, oh fuck, it's April 1st.
But you know what? Paul, that's how you know he likes you. He really truly likes you. He called on your behalf and said, this is not fair.
Yeah.
I'm standing up for my friend Paul. That's a sweet move, Dougie.
That is a sweet, incredibly stupid move, because if you just read the damn article, but it's very sweet.
I would have done the same thing, Dougie.
Yeah. Was it sweet enough to have you pick me to open for you at some point?
Why not? I mean,
that one hurt.
If I can open for Eric, then yeah. I mean, we'll just work it right down the line.
There we go. Everybody helps each other.
Yeah.
Speaking of helping each other, porn, alcohol were part of student sleepovers at Lunch Lady's house in Louisiana. Now, my memory or recollection of lunch ladies in my school was not that they were very attractive.
Yeah.
To me, lunch lady stood out on this one.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's why she had to entice them with porn and alcohol. But the story
also,
was
not for nothing, but like, what kind of lunch lady can afford a house?
Right.
Yeah. Teens drank alcohol and watched pornographic movies during overnight parties hosted by a school cafeteria worker.
And also, like, the relationship that you have with the lunch lady isn't usually like, you don't get to, hey, come over to my house. Like, it's just like, do you want this dish?
Yes.
Like, how did they develop? That's why I was like, how did they develop this kind of relationship with the lunch lady? And I mean,
I think it starts
alcohol to a teenage boy. Then that's a good opener.
It's quite a grooming process. I'm sure.
I'm sure the courting began when the guy got some extra mashed potatoes.
Yep, exactly.
And then she stuck a sausage right in it and says, "Hey, let's talk."
Yeah, you like sausages? She's 38 years old and charged Friday with multiple counts of indecent behavior, contributing to the delinquency of a minor.
I wonder how the food is at her house, though. I always hated lunch. The lunch at the lunch, like, maybe she's a really good cook, like on her off time, maybe, but really porn and alcohol, they just could eat Doritos.
I was wondering if they had that really crappy school pizza.
Yeah. What was with that? It was like no other pizza.
Yeah, before or since.
It was like drywall with a little bit of some sort of sauce, and like green or like orange cheese.
But did you guys have cornmeal on the bottom of yours? You know what I mean? Like it was like a pizza that was like not pizza dough. It was like a bread.
It wasn't dough. It was just that kind of mashed bread.
With like a gritty cornmeal on the bottom. No? Or did you guys not have that?
No, that sounds a lot like what we had in elementary school for sure. I mean, you think it wouldn't take, like, pizza day sounds like the only two words you need to get like third graders excited. But for us, I'm bringing cold lunch today. Yeah. I'm not doing that.
I'm bringing some bologna.
Yeah. I think that pizza would have kept those children away from her house. Honestly, if she'd had that, they would have been like, "No, this is not for me."
Pizza. No. Did you guys also have the toppings on? They called ours the little sausages. They were like little sausages like that, and they called them little smokies. Did you guys have the same thing, or was that just a Southern California thing? No.
I think you guys are spoiled in Southern California. We just had the terrible cheese.
There would be literally one slice of pepperoni in the middle of the square of pizza.
Yeah, why wasn't it ever a triangle pizza?
I think because they take it out of the baking sheet because they don't give a shit about process or tradition or just evenly baked food.
Yeah, there's no time for that.
No.
Well, that's good.
I'm just gonna say if a lunch lady is making enough money at our private school to afford a house, she better be feeding my kid porn and alcohol. That's the least they could do, because that sounds expensive.
I mean, that's a learning experience. Those kids have a life story.
Absolutely, they do.
if they're on a podcast, can you imagine that story?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I want him as a guest right now. I'll leave. I just want to listen.
Guess you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what attracted you to the lunch lady? She said
hairnet,
dirty movie.
Hairnet.
Yeah, sexy hairnet.
Yeah.
And that white outfit you wore was sexy. By the way, speaking of food, and I mentioned sandwiches, what's your favorite sandwich?
Oh man, I'm gonna call mine Thanksgiving sandwich.
The leftover turkey.
Well, it doesn't have to be on Thanksgiving, but it's the bread, but it has all the fixings of Thanksgiving, and what makes it is the cranberry sauce. Put stuffing in there. But I mean, I like a good turkey sandwich with avocado too. So really like something healthy and hearty is what I like.
I was at Subway because I had to, and they had the turkey wrap, turkey bacon avocado wrap.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And I'm like, okay, I like it. And then the guy starts making the sandwich. I'm like, where's the avocado? He's like, we ran out. Which, again, I talked about gas, but there's a lot of food shortages that are hitting as well. And there's avocado is hard to get. And I'm like, well, then you got to take money off that price of the sandwich because avocado, you know what I mean? The avocado is a big part of that pricing on that sandwich. And the kid's like, well, I don't know. I'm like, well, dude, you made my sandwich. He's like, well, I didn't know. I go, well, you're supposed to know the fucking menu. It's one of the top 3 sandwiches on the list. I don't know.
You're asking for too much from a Subway employee.
I know. Listen, if that guy's a Subway sandwich artist, I'm an Olympic pole vaulter.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the title's a little sandwich artist.
Yeah, it's a little cocky.
Yeah, a little cocky.
That's how they get away with paying them what they pay them. Is they say you're an artist. That's on your resume.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's interesting. You should say that. You brought up a good subject. The minimum wage, $15.
See? Yes.
You think
$15?
You think people that do those types of jobs are warranted $15 an hour?
I think it depends on where you are, though. Like in LA and New York and the big cities, 15 isn't that much. But there might be some other markets, some other cities where 15 is a lot. It's like, so I think it depends. But yeah, I don't know. It just depends on the situation to me.
I agree. It depends on if you're from an area that I think I'm better than. If you are, then yes, 15 is fair.
Yeah.
But if not, come on, man, get a real job.
It is true, though. Like, they try to pass something on a nationwide scale, but like you're right, there's certain parts of the country where that you don't need that kind of money.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. How could a home price in San Francisco, right, is like millions and millions of dollars, but in the middle of Arkansas, you can get something for maybe $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
So
now you live in that area, Paul, in San Francisco area?
I'm in the East Bay, so yeah, I'm like 40 minutes from the city, and so Oakland's getting like to be just as gentrified and expensive as San Francisco, and so it's all kind of bleeding out in all directions. So it'll hit us at some point. I mean, it's super expensive, but not anything close to what it's like in San Francisco.
Yeah, I heard it's brutal.
Oh God, it's insane. You can go online on Zillow and you can look at like $1.3 million houses, and they are, I mean, like you swear it's a typo. Like they're just like shanties basically, but they're like right on mission, so you got to have it.
Yeah, location.
Mm-hmm. But you know what's the hottest housing market in the country right now? Surprisingly, is Fresno, California.
Really?
It's the fastest rising one.
Huh.
It's not the most expensive, but this is known as, Dougie, I don't know if you know, but like Fresno it's in the Central Valley. It's not like it's not bad, like a bad area, but it's not like known as a nice, upscale where you would think that would be the top housing market in the country. It's very like, there's a lot of farms out there but yeah, I guess it's because they have more affordable housing that everyone's going there because it's a nice community. But anyway,
that's
a song about. I made a song about Fresno. I think I was ahead of my time. Now,
wow,
yeah,
you're a soothsayer. But I loved it. Everybody's coming to Florida. I heard there was an area in Tampa that was one of the fastest growing cities. I went to see my buddy when I was there. They built like a lagoon. They built this huge lagoon and like man-made lagoon park and stuff for this housing development. It was amazing. Everybody's got golf carts. It's one of those neighborhoods. Everybody's within. It's like a community. New York Spanish teacher in trouble for sucking companion's nipple during a Zoom class. I'm assuming the lady was lesbian because but they kept saying partner, and it's not like I don't see a lot of women sucking on men's nipples.
That's what I assumed. I don't know why, but
a New York City high school Spanish teacher is in hot water for sucking on a companion's nipple as students watched. And why wouldn't they?
Well, I minored in Spanish in college, and I grew up with a Mexican stepfather. And I can tell you that is an exercise to perfect the rolling of the R's. It works, man.
Yeah.
I sucked a lot of nipples to be able to say burrito.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to learn to roll the R's, you must suck on a titi nipple.
Right.
And now I can listen to this. Ready? I can say the longest word in Spanish, in Mexican Spanish. Parangaricutirimícuaro. You could just hear the nipple.
Oh yeah, that sounded like a motorboating.
Yeah.
My nipple.
Parangaricutirimícuaro.
Yeah.
Parangaricutirimícuaro.
Keep doing it.
Yeah.
I'm getting excited here.
See, you're playing
Chris,
with
get
it
over there
right
and
now,
suck
and you're
those things.
denying that you like it.
I love it. You kid, I don't want you. I'm gonna record that. I'm gonna ask my producer to send me a clip of just that.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to my headphones while I go to my old cafeteria lady's house and drink beer and watch her porn. Amanda Fletcher, a 14-year veteran of teacher, started fooling around in full view of her Columbia secondary school students during a class September. The Department of Education said, while she's supposed to be teaching class, Fletcher engaged in a clearly inappropriate and unprofessional act. They said, kids, listen, all these kids sleeping with teachers and stuff,
Well, I mean, what is it? So sleep with the students, don't sleep with the students. Can we get like a clear message here? Like what are we doing here?
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for it. I was always with older women when I was young. I was always, I had 3 older brothers. So I always had I was like 15 and dating a 17, 18, 19-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was a waiter at Wags, which is like a Denny's. I was dating this married chick who was like 27.
All right.
First girl I ever made out with who smoked cigarettes.
Wow.
That was a good experience.
Did you ever chupa el pezón?
El pezón?
El pezón.
I'm Spanish.
Chupando el pezón.
Sucking on the
nipple.
Oh, el pus. I was going to ask you what pezón.
Pezón.
Oh, yes. And she had big ones. They were huge.
Ugh.
Lovely. I was going to ask you guys if you like big nipples, but I want to keep this family clean.
Okay.
You just asked us.
You did. Short answer is no. So,
if they produce milk, then they're nipples, and I don't discriminate the nipple. Okay.
Yeah.
What makes us mammals?
Yeah. Is there a deal breaker when it comes to a woman?
There are tons of them.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, I'm neurotic, but smoking.
That's what I mean, like little things, like smoking. Like I remember I dated this girl back years ago, and she was so hot, but she had bad breath. Like on a
you can't.
basis.
Yeah,
that's a deal breaker.
That's
a girl who likes to fart in front of you, even though you're not been together a long time.
Yeah, there's definitely a time limit on that.
I was always cool with that. I was like, that's a sign of comfortability.
Yeah,
that's true.
I left the girl. We were
I heard a story where some girl was like, and he came over and he slept over. It was like our first time sleeping together. And then I go over by the bathroom and he's taking a dump with the door open. And I'm like, this guy. And it's man. He ended up really liking him because of that.
Oh, wow. That's what turned her over to him, huh?
Yeah. Cause like, he just didn't care.
Huh.
Wow. Funny.
That guy was me, and my lady is in the other room. No,
it
wasn't.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I heard some story about that though.
Eric's new stage name, Eric Shit Don't Stink Schwartz.
Yeah.
My door's always open.
That's awesome. Our next story, a woman says she caught boyfriend cheating when he accidentally sent video instead of photo. I guess the guy said, he's like, honey, I'm at the hotel. I'm good. And he takes a quick shot, but he didn't realize it was the live feed. When you do the live on your Apple,
live photo?
It takes like a few seconds.
Right.
And I guess he took the photo. He thought it was a still clip. It turns out, as you watch the live, the woman jumps into the bed just as it's ending. I love
him. Motherfucker.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you don't take those chances. You know?
No, I mean? You don't. What is wrong with you?
I'm not condoning cheating. All right.
Also, don't cheat, honey. I want to make that clear.
Yeah,
but
don't cheat. Because I've had people ask me that. You're on the road all the time. Don't you get urges and stuff like that? I go, there's nothing better in my life that if someone knocks on that door, if the phone rings, you know what I mean? If an email comes in, I don't have to worry. That it's going to be somebody sharing something I did.
Mm-hmm.
I never want to go back and answer that kind of shit. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah. So, have you ever been caught? Have you ever cheated and been caught?
I've never cheated. So, never cheated, never had to be caught, but never caught anyone cheating on me. I've caught people cheating on other people. That's always fun. That's always.
What do you do? Do you tell the person?
It depended. Like, I think for one, it was like I knew the guy, but I was like, I don't know the relationship. And I was like, I'm not, this is not my circus, not my monkey. I'm not dealing with this. With one, it was like a guy and he was like dating this girl that we used to be friends with. And I was like, hey, come on, dude, man, don't be an ass. Cause this is going to come out and then I'm going to get in trouble for not saying anything. Yeah. So knock it off.
They associate you to it. Why did you tell me?
Yeah.
What would you do if you found out somebody you knew was a couple and one of them was cheating, Eric?
I can't remember who it is, but I knew somebody who did that. I can't remember who it is, thankfully. But it's weird because you can't, that the guy's your friend, and you can't spill the beans, but you got to tell him. Like, I just tell him, like, I remember telling him, like, hey, maybe you should just break up. Like, it's not really fair,
Yeah.
But you can only do certain things, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's got to be tough if the guy loves the girl and you find out she's cheating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh God, he's gonna be heartbroken when he finds out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I haven't seen that. I knew the guy who was cheating on his girlfriend, but the guy was a friend of mine. I can't even remember who it is. It's been so long. But yeah, there was one time there was a guy who wanted me to cheat on his girlfriend with him, or wanted me to sleep with his girlfriend.
Oh, well, that's not cheating.
No,
I mean,
but the cheat. Yeah.
Are you talking about a cuckold moment? He wanted to watch you have, or was
he didn't want to watch? He just was like, it was weird.
That, or he wanted you to try to hit. Like, I had a friend one time ask me years ago, I want you to try to hit on my girlfriend and to see if she goes for it, because he was wanted to test her.
Maybe that's what he was doing.
And I'm like, dude,
maybe, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, that'd be great. I'm gonna hit on her. Next thing you know, you're knee deep.
Yeah, right.
Just like, well, she said yes.
Yeah,
you should break up with her, Bill. I'm gonna start banging her now. Yeah. A Michigan man builds poop wall after dispute with neighbor.
I didn't see this one.
I didn't see that either.
This is the one I just added. A man has reportedly retaliated against a neighbor with a cow dung in a small Michigan town. Wayne Lambert claims a 250-foot wall of manure was erected following a property line dispute we had with a fellow farm owner last year.
How big?
I mean, what sucks about a poop wall is that half of it's on your side.
Right, exactly. I just think, like, the dedication, you gotta hate someone to be mashing that thing in and getting like, oh, I need more water for the left side, and just, I mean, you gotta hate somebody.
You gotta be in contact with it.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that is a good point. Like, he's the one who had to touch it and do it. The other guy just had to see it. I mean, it's a 250-foot shit wall.
Yeah.
I imagine you may have to use heavy equipment for that kind of work. So if you're in a tractor, with a big crane putting a big dump in the shit on there, I guess that's okay. But you're right.
Resale value on that tractor.
Yeah.
No one's going to buy that.
You know what I actually what I love about that though is that like part of like neighbor disputes. Like I saw one about like this guy like bought the house next door to his ex-wife and he constructed like a giant middle finger statue. But like what I love about that is that like is the element of surprise. It's like, oh, that's just one unveiling. Here's my statue. This guy, like, the other guy saw him when he was like way early into the project, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm building a poop wall," and he just kept going all the way down the line, 250 feet worth, and he was like, "I know the joke has kind of waned, but I still think it's got legs. I'm going to keep going with this."
He just let the neighbor do it just to make him handle the shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like who's pranking who? Like
I'm gonna wait to call the police on this.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna wait till you're done, call the cops, and you have to take it down that afternoon. Like now you've got 500 feet of poop under your fingernails.
Yeah,
like, wait till you lost here.
I'm gonna wait till you have cholera, and then diphtheria, and then I'm gonna call the police.
Mm-hmm. Actually, the guy walked out there. The neighbor walked out there with Clipsy on his nose.
Clippy
on his nose. And he said, "Hey, you better not build any more of this wall.
Yeah.
You better not build any more of this wall." And he walked away.
Looks like you're trying to exact revenge. Can I help?
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, they got a photo of it too. If you look at it.
Oh, okay. Drop it in the messenger because I gotta see this thing.
Is it textured like one piece? Like did he make it artistically like realistic?
It's not like you put a lot of work into it. It just looks like a wall of just
looks like a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Shit wall. It's definitely a piece of shit wall.
But how dope would that be if he actually like crafted it to look, with the ridges and just one making piece?
Right. That's
That'd
how people,
cool.
People find their passions like that. Some ladies walking by like, "Can you do my backsplash?" Like that. Yeah. That looks great.
Same material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a renewable resource.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Listen, I've had issues with neighbors, but all right. Our last story, the guy called Sperminator, who's close to fathering 100 children, he says, "Don't focus on me." These people that donate their sperm, I didn't realize this, and I read into the story, but this guy has donated his sperm. He has over 50 children already, scattered all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know they could do that. Could you imagine you donate so much sperm that you actually have 100 kids around the world?
Well, this is like a Vince Vaughn movie, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I never watched it, but it's it sounded like right up his alley.
A New York college professor, Ari Nagel, has fathered more than 80 children, has more on the way.
A college professor? What's your problem? I think that at that point it's just the love of the game. Like clearly, like money's not the issue. I think you just have a passion.
That'd be funny if they all showed up in his class.
Yeah, exactly.
He's ensuring his future as a professor.
You look familiar. 44-year-old educator has made headlines in the past for his frequent sperm donations, which has earned him the nickname Sperminator from natural tabloids. He will be providing a life update and new interview with Dr. Mehmet Oz. Dr. Oz.
Sperminator, I'll come again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a dumb pun.
That was right.
Yeah, whatever.
We'll forgive you.
Yeah, that's not bad. But hey, that's all we have time for on the Wake Up Play with Dougie show. We're gonna end on the Sperminator joke.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why not?
I should have ended stronger.
Oh.
Well, I started this thing off in a loafy mode. Like, I'm feeling down. I'm in pain with my, what's it called again?
Your psoas.
My psoas, and I'm in pain. But you guys spruced things up, and I'm glad you guys got to meet because hopefully you guys got to work together at some point.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah, man. I'm see when I'm up there in the Bay.
When are you Cubs?
June 13th.
I'm out of town all June. That sucks, but I'm sure we'll run into each other.
I'll be back. You'll be around. I'll be back.
Yes, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Hit me up. There's so many great local shows too that you can pop on.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Like we have such an amazing scene, and now that things are opening back up, you can come for, if you've got a weekend at one of the clubs, you can fill out your entire week before.
Cool.
Just doing really cool shows.
That's awesome, man.
That's awesome that they do it and let you do it. I've had some situations where you want to do that, and they say, "Well, you can't work these other clubs."
Oh yeah. I just got back from one. They were like 100-mile radius, can't do it. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah, and you're like, wow, I'm trying to fill my. But it's okay if the club books you Wednesday through Saturday or something. At least you're filling in the week.
Right. It's
But
like one show Friday, one show Saturday.
Yeah, like I did the Cactus Comedy Classic over there at Stir Crazy in Phoenix, Glendale area, really cool area. And it's a Friday, Saturday night. And there's a couple other places, like they had a couple other places. Say, we can do a Thursday here, you can do that. I'm like, oh, that makes it worth, the flight and stuff like that. Speaking of gigs, you mentioned some. Why don't you share with us, Eric, some of the things that are coming up?
Okay. Well, I'm kicking off my tour called the Feel Good Tour because I feel like that's what everyone wanted. We've had enough bad times, so let's just feel good and have a good time. So that starts in Tampa, May 16th. I'm going to be in San Antonio, Austin, Paris, Texas, Fresno, hottest housing market in the country.
Yeah.
Los Angeles, Huntington Beach, and San Francisco, and more are coming soon.
Paul,
So
you said
you can find info for that on my website, ericschwartzlive.com.
There you go. Paul?
Let's see. So I'll be hitting the road in June. I'll be in Little Rock and then Tulsa the weekend after, and then I'll be headlining the Fort Wayne Comedy Club in Indiana on the 18th and 19th, and then the following weekend I'll be at the Drop Comedy Club in South Bend. All that stuff is on my website, paulconyers.com.
Very cool. This Thursday, I'm going to be at the Punchline competing in the World Series of Comedy.
In Atlanta, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Kick some ass, man.
May 28th and 29th, I'm going to be at the Greenville Comedy Zone the week I move there. So that's going to be a nice.
Oh, that's a nice welcome. Hope they have like a basket of cookies for you.
Yeah, nice basket of goodies, right?
Yeah.
Gotta go to the local schools and see what the food ladies look like.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
Because they're giving it up.
I hear you. Serving more than chocolate milk these days.
Aside from that, guys, please follow our show at Wake Up Dougie on Twitter and the Wake Up Late with Dougie show on Instagram. Follow me at Funny Fiduciary on Twitter and Dougie Dangerous on Instagram. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for being on the show. Appreciate your time. And you guys keep doing what you're doing, man. You're both funny bastards.
Oh,
funny son of a bitch.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, man.
You got it, fellas. And Chris, we ready to take this away?
That we are.
All right. And we'll be off for a couple weeks while I'm moving, by the way, guys. We'll probably post some just the clips from last year because I didn't get to post any clips from Harry Basil's interview, which was great last week. I had to interview Harry. I don't know if you guys saw it, but Harry Basil from the Laugh Factory in Vegas posted somebody took a Sharpie to something in the green room. You guys see that post?
No.
Somebody used a Sharpie and wrote on part of the green room, a chair or something. I don't know what it was. And they got cameras everywhere. So they're going to find out who the culprit is.
Oh.
Imagine you finally get into work, one of the greatest clubs in the country, and then you're going to lose your gig because you thought you'd be funny with a Sharpie.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Can't vandalize anymore. It sucks.
Yeah, this is...
What kind of world is this?
We're going to find out who Banksy is in like a week, I swear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a
matter of time.
Well, that's it, fellas. Thank you so much. God bless. And guys, we'll be back in a couple weeks with all new shows.
All right. Hey, safe travels, man. Good luck.
Yeah, have a good move.
Take care, guys.
See you guys.
Later.
Wake up! Wake up! I'm not psycho! Wake up. Wake up.